Paul, and you're watching news at 10. In our top stories tonight, Prime Minister sees no need for a DPM. And MIHAS 2022, a testimony to people's faith in government's strategy. Prime Minister Dato' Seri Semasa today reiterated that there was no need for a Deputy Prime Minister. He said the position of 4 senior ministers collectively represented the role of a Deputy Prime Minister.
Saya ingat saya dah terangkan dengan jelas itu hari bahawa menteri-menteri kanan ini saya anggap lebih kurang timbalan Perdana Menteri lah. Ya. Keistimewaan yang diperolehi pun hampir sama dengan timbalan Perdana Menteri. Dah ada 4 menteri kanan. Jadi saya pun dah perjelaskan kepada wakil daripada Perikatan Nasional, iaitu 2 orang, Setiausaha Agung dan juga Bendahari Perikatan Nasional sewaktu berjumpa dengan saya.
He said this when met in Kuala Lumpur today. Earlier, past Secretary-General Dato' Sri Taqiyuddin Hasan admitted that he had drafted a Memorandum of Agreement, MOA, related to the post of the Deputy Prime Minister. It was reported that PN Chairman Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin had noted on the existence of the agreement. On a related matter, Dato' Sri Semasa said any negotiations involving UMNO will only be considered valid when they are decided by the party leadership. The UMNO Vice President said any negotiations should be carried out in accordance with the party's policy.
Siapa pun boleh berjumpa dengan rakan-rakan di kalangan PAS untuk berjumpa, berbincang. Tetapi seperti saya katakan, rundingan hanya boleh menjadi sah dan menjadi dasar parti apabila diputuskan oleh parti. Parti mesti memutuskan siapa wakil parti yang sah untuk berunding dan sebagainya, itu adalah daripada parti.
He said this when met in the nation's capital today. Dato' Sri Semasa said this when asked about a claim by a past leader of a secret talk between the party and UMNO to ensure straight fights with Pakatan Harapan PH in the 15th general election GE15. The government will continue to improve security levels in the Eastern Sabah Security Zone, or S-Zone, in line with the government's efforts to protect the country's sovereignty. Communications and Multimedia Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said Prime Minister Dato' Sri Semasa has instructed the government to provide more focus on this to ensure the people of Sabah are safe at all times. Tan Sri Anwar said the communications teams will be required to provide comprehensive coverage on security matters.
Lawatan ke Zon 6, perhatian juga akan tumpukan untuk membawa media, tim media untuk melihat operasi keselamatan di Sabah kerana jawatankuasa komunikasi strategik kerajaan yang saya pengurusikan berpandangan bahawa usaha-usaha yang dilakukan oleh kerajaan yang tidak pernah kurang sebenarnya daripada sudut keselamatan di perairan Sabah perlu dipertingkatkan. Sejajar dengan usaha kerajaan akan terus mempertingkatkan tentang keselamatan di wilayah ataupun di zon Eskom. Pada masa yang sama, kita ingin memastikan bahawasanya rakyat Sabah dapat melihat secara dekat dan dapat mengetahui kesungguhan kerajaan untuk menjaga kedaulatan negara.
Tan Sri Anwar, who is on a 3-day working visit to Sabah from today, said he will also have the opportunity to witness closely security operations along the coastal areas. He will also meet locals to get feedback on security aspects and also on the costs of goods in his capacity as the Special Task Force on Jihad Against Inflation chairman. The government received a total of 65,898 applications for the second phase of the Peranti Siswa Keluarga Malaysia tablets within a month since it was opened on 1st August. Higher Education Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Noraini Ahmad said of the total, 45,341 applications had been approved, while 20,557 applications are being processed.
Dan diharapkan pemberian secara terus kepada pelajar ini dapat membantu pelajar untuk belajar dan insya-Allah kita harapkan juga mereka menggunakannya dengan sebaik mungkin sehingga berjaya di dalam peperiksaan dan sebagainya lah.
According to Datuk Sri Dr. Noraini, there are 1.6 million students, including more than 300,000 students who are from the B40 group. She urged eligible students who have yet to apply to do so before the application deadline date on 30th September. She said this after opening the academic and administrative building of the Al-Watiku Billah Library, Taman Rimba Ilmu Tanah Bris, and Agropreneur Incubator Park at Besut campus of the University Sultan Zainal Abidin. In Terengganu, she said a total of 3,156 applications had been approved and 150 University Sultan Zainal Abidin students were the first group to receive the tablets in the state today. Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki said more time is required for investigations into the 9 billion ringgit littoral combat ships LCS financial scandal. He said this is to enable the MACC to summon more witnesses, including those that are currently abroad.
Dalam hal penyiasatan ini, tuan-tuan dan puan semua, saya ingin membawa semua untuk memahami bahawa perkara-perkara berkaitan tabik urus dengan kriminaliti adalah dua perkara yang berbeza. Sebab itu yang mungkin banyak pihak mengemukakan isu-isu kepada pihak media tentang isu-isu tabik urus itu mungkin diambil daripada laporan forensik audit. Namun demikian pihak kami menyiasat bukan itu saja, kita menyiasat lebih lanjut lagi daripada itu untuk melihat kriminal jenayah yang berlaku oleh mana-mana pihak. Jadi masa diperlukan lagi oleh pegawai-pegawai penyiasat saya untuk melengkapkan siasatan ini.
Tan Sri Azam also said graft investigators have yet to decide whether to call Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Special Functions, Dr. Abdul Latif Ahmad, over his alleged links to the scandal. He explained that the investigation is ongoing and the matter is still being looked into. The LCS procurement is set to be the biggest defence deal in the country, aimed to equip the Navy with 6 vessels capable of engaging in close shore battles. Police detained 12 foreign nationals, including 11 women, on suspicion of being involved in prostitution activities during a raid at a shop house at Jalan Sungai Dua, Georgetown, yesterday. A salon occupies the top floor of the premises, while a massage parlour is located on the ground floor. The raiding party seized an assortment of items which pointed to possible prostitution activities such as condoms, lubricants, towels, talcum powder, tissue paper, a handbag, a logbook and cash totaling about 600 ringgit. Acting Timor Laut District Police Chief Superintendent V. Saravanan said the man detained was believed to be a customer, while the women were offering their services for prices ranging from 50 ringgit and 150 ringgit. A seized logbook indicated the premises had been operating since February this year. Briefing reporters today, Saravanan said there is a possibility that customers will come for the massage services first before being offered to do their hair. The raid follows investigation by personnel from the Sungai Nibong police station at the district's D7 team. All the foreign nationals aged between 24 and 52 have been remanded for 3 days to assist in investigations. The case is probed under Section 372B of the Penal Code, Regulation 39, Subsection B of the Immigration Regulations 1963, and Section 6, Subsection 3 of the Immigration Act 1959/1963. Coming up, government to help aviation industry address challenges. Stay with us. But first, Malaysia retained the top spot in the Global Islamic Economy Index for 9 consecutive years, beating 81 other countries. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the assessment was based on the State of the Global Islamic Economy 2022 report. The Prime Minister explained that the assessment was made based on economic digitalization initiatives, halal infrastructure development, and increased government focus on food security and healthcare.
Petunjuk ekonomi Islam global ini turut meramalkan bahawa pasaran halal akan berkembang kepada 8.8 trilion ringgit atau 2.09 trilion US dollar seperti yang dilaporkan tahun lepas kepada hampir 14 trilion ringgit ataupun 3.27 trilion US dollar menjelang 2028.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the prediction is in line with the increase in the global Muslim population, which had reached 1.9 billion in 2021. At the same time, showing high potential in diversifying the halal industry in a more inclusive and comprehensive manner in the long term. According to the Premier, there are now more than 8,000 companies in Malaysia recognized as halal, with more than 20% of them being exporting companies. He added that the Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, JAKIM, also works with halal certification bodies from various countries for uniformity of standards in compliance with the Sharia laws. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the organisation of the 18th Malaysia International Halal Showcase, or MIHAS, this year is a testimony of the people's faith in the effectiveness of the government's strategy in driving the development and innovation of the halal industry in Malaysia and internationally. The Premier explained that the increase in sales from year to year will have a spillover effect on the halal-related sector and indirectly contributes to the success of Malaysian companies, particularly the development of micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs.
Malah, peningkatan jualan sektor halal ini akhirnya akan melonjakkan pertumbuhan keluaran dalam negara kasar ataupun KDNK, di samping membuka lebih banyak ruang dan peluang kepada masyarakat Malaysia untuk membawa industri halal ke peringkat antarabangsa.
The Prime Minister added that to facilitate the growth of Malaysia's halal industry, Halal Malaysia Industrial Parks, one of the world's largest halal hubs, was established to provide world-class facilities, a skilled workforce and ease of doing business, among other things. It covers an area of 200,000 acres in the 14 strategic halal parks that have received Halal Malaysia status from Halal Development Corporation. On a related note, Deputy International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Lim Ban Hong said Malaysia's exports of halal products had increased by 19% to 36.30 billion ringgit in 2021 from 30.50 billion ringgit in 2020. According to Datuk Lim, Malaysia is currently one of the main producers of halal products in the international market.
Industri halal dijangka akan terus berkembang di rantau Asia Pasifik susulan daripada rektifikasi Malaysia ke atas Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership (RCEP) yang berkuat kuasa pada 18 Mac 2022.
The RCEP is the world's biggest free trade agreement involving 15 nations with a total population of more than 2.3 billion, or around one-third of the world's population. Datuk Lim said with major countries such as China, Japan, South Korea, Australia and New Zealand, as well as ASEAN being members of the RCEP, This provides a golden opportunity in diversifying the halal industry's potential. He also said the requirement to have a certificate of origin in order to enjoy the benefits under the Sept would encourage more trades apart from investment activities among the member countries. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Industry, MAFI, hopes for a bigger allocation under the 2023 budget for it to continue with the various programs aimed at ensuring the continuity of the country's food supply. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Dr. Ronald Kiandi, said the reason being that MAFI is one of the important ministries, especially in guaranteeing the security of food supply in the country. He said ministry programs needed to be implemented continuously, apart from outlining new programs to ensure active production of food supplies.
Kemodenan dalam sektor pertanian, kelangsungan dari segi adaptasi kita terhadap IR 4.0 memerlukan dana yang berterusan daripada kerajaan. Jadi MAFI berharap agar Kementerian Kewangan melihat ini sebagai sesuatu yang perlu diberi keutamaan dan MAFI memohon agar bajet tahunan MAFI akan dapat ditingkatkan oleh Kementerian Kewangan.
Speaking at the Pulau Pinang Pharmacists Organisation annual general meeting today, Datuk Sri Kiandi said one of the efforts in agricultural development implemented by the government through the Muda Agricultural Development Authority, MADA, was the planting of 5 crops in 2 years by its paddy farmers. He said a pilot program involving 1,220 hectares would be carried out and is expected to increase the income of 628 paddy farmers by 25%, compared to the income they received by planting the crop 4 times in 2 years. The government is aware of the challenges faced by the local aviation industry and is looking into ways to help the industry address them. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said the government has taken note of the challenges, particularly in terms of business expansions and retention. Explaining further, the minister said the aerospace and aviation industry is deemed as one of the key drivers to propel Malaysia's economic growth under the 12th Malaysia Plan.
We as the government and also in Ministry of Finance acknowledge the challenges which especially this industry is facing, particularly in terms of business expansion and retention, as well as the lengthy bureaucracy that may prevent foreign and domestic investors from doing businesses in Malaysia. Rest assured, we are working to address this issue.
Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul said prior to the reopening of economic sectors, it was imperative for the federal governments to stimulate economic growth by investing in strategic sectors, including the aerospace and aviation industry. He is also confident that initiatives such as the Selangor Aviation Show 2022 would serve as a bridge to connect with ASEAN and global industry players and attract them to do business in Malaysia. A new route to link Malaysia and Indonesia via Teluk Gong in Masjid Tanah, Melaka and Dumai in Sumatra, involving a distance of about 120 kilometers, will be developed with the cooperation of the private sector. Melaka Investment, Industry, Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Committee Chairman Datuk Sri Abdul Rauf Yusuf said the proposed development, which would involve the construction of a tunnel or bridge, would take 20 years and when completed would have a major impact on the economic development of both countries. He said the proposal on the project has been submitted by the private sector and both countries have in principle agreed to a detailed study on the matter. He said the project to be built using the One Belt, One Road concept would be a new icon for both Malaysia and Indonesia.
Kita sedang mengenal pasti beberapa kawasan semalam. Kita sedang melihat kawasan-kawasan yang berpotensi untuk dijadikan kawasan penyuraian trafik, kawasan menjadikan kawasan CIQ dan kaedah-kaedah baru CIQ akan diperkenalkan. Kemudian kawasan-kawasan industri yang ada segmen-segmen tertentu ya.
Datuk Seri Abdul Rauf said this when met after an interview on the, quote, Upper Kaba YB program with Melaka FM today. He said the new industrial area would be developed in stages in Masjid Tanah, in an area covering about 2,023 hectares. Development of the area would be carried out by the Melaka Corporation and is expected to also contribute to the opening of a new town in Masjid Tanah. And in sports, Kuala Lumpur sink Mohun Bagan to reach AFC Cup inter-zonal final. Stay with us. Malaysia Cup 2021 champions Kuala Lumpur City FC made history last night when they beat Indian club ATK Mohun Bagan 3-1 to qualify for their maiden AFC Cup inter-zonal final. The semi-final action, which took place at the Vivekananda Yuba Bharati Kri Rangan Stadium in Kolkata, India, saw the Indian club dominate the first half by launching a series of attacks against KL City FC, but failed to score. Import player Paulo Josue stunned the home side in the 60th minute with a superb strike from outside the penalty box to give the City boys the lead. A goal from close range by Fardin Ali in the 90th minute equalised for ATK Mohun Bagan, but their joy was short-lived as Fakrul Aiman Sidit's header from a free kick taken by Josue put Boyan Hodak's man back in front in the second minute of stoppage time. Colombian import Romel Morales then confirmed KL City FC's spot in the final next month by scoring the third goal in the 5th minute of stoppage time. They will now face Uzbek club PFC Sogdiana, who narrowly won over Hong Kong side Eastern Long Lions 1-0 in another semi-final action. That concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, Prime Minister sees no need for a DPM. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Till then, it's lights out. I'm Bernard Paul. Stay tuned to saluran Berita RTM. Salam keluarga Malaysia and have a pleasant evening.